Okay. Good evening, everybody. And how are you? It's Thursday and we are back again. Of course, it's a little few minutes of a delay, but we are back, getting better and better with managing all the delays and coming and meeting all of you. So, a very warm welcome. And today, like the topic says, it's a consolidation. So, Pan is right here. Pan is here and he's sitting with his mama and he's thinking of all the last few things that he's done in the last few weeks. So Pan is thinking that what all did he do and what did he learn. So are we ready to go? All right. So Pan is being really cool. Okay. He has some friends with him. So he has the dog. He has the monkey. He has his friend, the rabbit. These are also friends who've been coming on and off and meeting all of us. Do you remember that? Yeah. And he has the octopus. And he has a little finger now that says that all his friends are with him. Okay. So, Pan is ready now to take us through what Pan has learned in the last few weeks. So he's going to be very, very smart and he's going to recollect everything that he's learned. And here we go. So syllable counting can be fun. Syllable counting can be fun. Come and join me, everyone. Syllable counting can be fun. Come and join me, everyone. Clapping, clapping, then Pan starts. He claps and breaks the words into parts. He claps and breaks the words into parts. So, Pan is trying to recollect how to do syllables. So, are we ready? My friends are here. So, come join me. It's going to be fun. Can you see? So, clapping the syllables. So, when the children are preparing for phonics, can children learn to have fun and just clap the syllables? So, we are going to use the names of each of Pan's friends and we're going to see how many syllables they are and we're going to clap them, right? So, what's the first friend's name? Oh, he's dog. One clap. Monkey. Two claps. Monkey. Monkey. You know, even this is a nice way to do syllables. That how many ever time it touches your hand, it's that many syllables. Rabbit. Octopus. Elephant. So, that many syllables. So, let's clap. For dog, one syllable. Clap. Monkey. 1, 2. Rabbit. 1, 2. Octopus. Octopus. Elephant. Elephant. So, in such a simple, beautiful way, Pan is teaching us how to clap the syllables with the names of his friends. And now today, Pan is in a great mood. Pan has decided that he is going to recollect every little thing that he has learned. And now he's off to the second thing that he's learned. I think the second thing that he learned was to ask riddles. So he said, oh my God, I'm going to ask you some riddles now. So everybody be ready because now Pan's going to come up with riddles. So today, like I told you, Pan is in this absolute fun mood and is deciding that he's going to recollect all the things that he's been learning about language, about phonics, and he's going to help us to recap them, right? All right. So is everybody ready? So the next one is the riddles. So he finished the syllables. Now he's going to have fun with the riddles. So what drives in the street uses its wheels and not its feet? It rhymes with the word star. Is it the word car? Yes. So he's using the rhyming as well as asking you a riddle. So Pan is getting smart, I see. Yeah, every day becoming smarter and smarter. The next one now. So, oh my God, he is going to really ask us a nice one. So, what's fun and round? And it bounces up and down. It rhymes with tall. Is it a ball? Very good. So, who wants a big crown and a beautiful gown? It rhymes with green. The word rhymes with green. Do you think it's a queen? Yes. So, rhyming riddles can be so useful to children. So, what I'm trying to also do today is to consolidate what's the last few speakers and what we discussed in the sessions so that we can actually see the activities coming alive. And that's what we need to recollect and take back to our children, whether we're teachers, whether we're parents. It'll help a lot. So remember, syllables can be clapped all along, and I'll put that little song, that is there. So are you ready? Okay, so let's just practice that syllable song. Also there's a lot of music and songs available as you, search or Google search it. But this is just something which I built for you, so you can just sing it with me once, and then you can sing it with your children. So, syllable counting can be fun. Come and join me, everyone. Syllable counting can be fun. Come and join me, everyone. Clapping, clapping, then we start. Clapping, clapping, then we start. Clap and break the words into parts. Clap and break the words into parts. Are you Span? You can use your child's name, like, clapping, clapping, and then, Radha starts, claps and breaks the words into parts. Okay, so come, come, come and sing with me. Please join me. It's going to be fun, you see. So, I call the children. So, also create patterns. That's another thing which I thought of in the last, couple of weeks. As I was working with the speakers, that we must create some sort of patterns. We must create some sort of rhythms for the children, so that when they start, when they see that pattern happening, they automatically react to it, saying that, oh, this is this is going to be a syllable time, or this is going to be okay, so this is going to be a syllable time, or this is going to be time for rhymes or riddles. So maybe when you're doing riddles, you could have a cutout of a question mark. When you're doing rhyming words, you could think of some logo. So also create rhythms and fun for the children. Don't let phonics be just a serious thing. And as I put up the cards, if you can look things at the back, it's called nurturing, readiness, language, and then literacy, reading, writing, phonological awareness, then phonemic awareness, and then phonics. So when you're talking about phonics, the nurturing of the readiness is a very important thing. So don't start the children straight away into sounds and symbols and tell them, okay, now let's build words. So build it up to that. And I think that was one thing that we tried building with our speakers, with people who came and spoke to us. And we set up a little pattern that first we start with rhyming words. So the star and a far, or star and a car, and keep adding to it. And then you do the syllable claps. Then you do growing sentences. It's very interesting how children can grow sentences, And so you start with two words. The cat sits. The cat sits on the mat. The cat sits on the mat with the rat. The cat sits on the mat with a rat and a bat. So these are little things that the children will keep adding and keep growing sentences. Then tongue twisters. Oh my God, this is going to be fun. I haven't practiced it, so I don't know if I'll be able to say it as beautifully as our speakers who came in did, because each one specialized in their own little work. So lovely thing to do, tongue twisters. Also, when you're doing, I thought, that's another thing I thought, if you're doing tongue twisters, with that, you can do a related story in which that sound will come multiple times. All right. So let's start with alliteration kind of tongue twisters. Alliteration means every word of the sentence will begin with the same sound. So, or we can start with the blue bird blinks. The blue bird blinks. And then you could do a story on birds or something like that. Or cooks cook cupcakes. Or remember we used to do the seashells. She sells seashells on the seashore. So these are little things you can do with the children. And there's another really beautiful one which one of our speakers, Shubhi, had brought up, and she said, yellow butter, purple jelly, red jam, black and black bread. So let's start this again. Yellow butter, purple jelly, red jam, black bread. Spread it, think it thick, and say it quick. Spread it thick and say it quick. Now, yellow butter, purple jelly, red jam, black bread. Spread it thicker, say it quicker. All right, let's try this. So, yellow butter, purple jelly, red jam, black bread. Now, don't you eat. So, don't eat until it's spreading and it's nice and spread. So, let's speak a word. Let's speak a set of words faster and then faster. So, this is also helping the children to get attuned to listening and to be able to speak it out. Just a plain fun development of language. I think works beautifully. There were so many perspectives to the phonics and the language, which I never thought about. And it is so wonderful because each speaker came with their unique set of suggestions, thoughts, and finally, the 42 sounds and symbols, and understanding that words are made of sounds, and we have to blend the sounds, we have to segment the words, and you have to have handwriting and the phonics system. So to go to that, these little steps are so important. The next speaker we had was Sumati, and she picked up the most reasonable resources. They were just, cardboard cartons, they were cards, there was just very simple resource, and she used a lot of picture reading, so she built these pictures which had the same sounds. So there was a boy, he was blowing bubbles, he was bouncing a ball, he had put something in a bin, he sat on a bench. So the sound, or any sound for that matter, kept repeating through the picture. So picture reading is another very, very nice thing that can be created. You can also create, I also thought when we were discussing this whole picture reading thing, I was telling her that it's so wonderful also if we don't always create or draw or print pictures for the children, but if we actually give it to the children as a story and let them build it, let them grow it. I think that works really, really beautifully. So this is another thing which you could work with, the first sound of the letters that the children. So when we talk about art integration, this can so beautifully happen that the children can use a blank sheet of paper to listen to you and actually sketch out everything and then describe that picture to you using that vocabulary. So what happens is the children listen, the children comprehend, the children can express, and then the children recall. So auditory memory, visual memory, expression, visual spatial layouts, all that is happening while a simple phonic program is being introduced to the children. So all of this will help children to get many facets of phonics, not just the fact that you have to, and all this needs to be talked about. You need to make it happen for children. And that's how it works so much better for them. And if we can, then we had another speaker who talked about the enormity and the expanse of language, saying that when the children come to us, they come with so much of language already developed. And also thinking how important it is for fluency when the whole community, when there is influence of the community, when there is language happening all around the child, when you're picking up not only the community and the thought processes, but you're also picking up different languages, ability to relate to different languages. So that becomes a very very important, so another thing that we talked about was that to the real language, like how less we expose the children to the base of the language. When the children come to school, we expose them to the letters, to saying this is ABC, this is how we write them, this is how they sound out. But what happens to that expanse of language? So that's another very, very nice thing that we spoke about, that much before we do all of this, we must assume and mustn't assume that language will be only an ABC. It will be much more than that, right? So grow all of that. It's very, very important. Another lovely thing that we talked about was field learning, outside the classroom, outside the ABC and the posters. What is it that we can take the children to become aware and ready for the formal phonic instruction when it starts? So the readiness to that process is so, so important. And at the end of it all, the amalgamation of both what you pick up from the running and moving environment and what is taught in the classroom. If those two things can be connected, the language develops really, really well. I think that was a very interesting concept that we did. And then we had Faraz, who actually spoke about a very interesting concept. In fact, that's something that really stayed with me. Uh, Talking about how books and the wonder of, wanting to read a book can make a child want to read. So when the child wants to read, the child will look for ways to read. When the child looks for ways to read, the child will come to you and ask you how to read. And that's the time you can actually introduce phonics to the children, talk about sounds, talk about symbols, talk about the words in the books. And what a beautiful concept he spoke about. He said that, as during even the pandemic and earlier, when he was working in different environments, he started something called the Jola Library, because there was no access to things. So he would just pick up a Jola, literally a cloth bag, and put a lot of books in it and go to different places close to, the cities, like maybe the outskirts of the cities, into smaller bastis, into villages, into areas which he could perhaps reach with very easy transport. And all he carried with him was a little Jola, a bag. And he started calling it a Jola library. I thought such a beautiful concept. And every time he went there, he would sit down and he would take out a book. And he would say, okay, so today I'm going to read to you. And many times his technique was very interesting. He would read half the story and put the book back and say, now I'm going to come back next week, okay? So after really exciting the children, he started leaving the books behind to the responsible child. And then they would read and they would come back and tell him the end of the story. So he left them curious. So everybody wonders, no, where is the phonics in this? This is all getting them ready to receive it when it comes. So a simple activity like a book reading, it's so beautiful. Seat the children in front of you, teach them how to open the books really carefully, draw attention to specific sounds that you want them to learn, or just simply read the story to them, and then the second time ask them to spot a particular sound. So if I'm going to read a story, so today is Brownie Bear's birthday. Brownie's mother has arranged for a party with many balloons. Brownie Bear blows the balloons. Brownie Bear's Bear's friends give him a big gift. Brownie Bear opens the gift and sees a big ball. He bounces the ball. Brownie Bear's mama gives him birthday caps and a straw to blow bubbles. Brownie Bear and his friends blow bubbles, play with the ball and the balloon. They cut the cake. They sing happy birthday. They collect all the trash and put it in a bin. Because even if they're out in the garden, they can't leave it untidy and dirty. And Brownie Bear is so happy. The child is just listening to the story for the first time. The second time, when you narrate the same story to the children, say, every time I come to the sound, but you have to clap your hand. And then say that, would you like to see how we represent the sound b and show them the letter? So what happens is the children have got a vocabulary, they have got a comprehension, they have understood how to identify auditory identification of different words beginning with that sound, and then with that curiosity, they are learning the symbol. And that is like a complete initial part of the phonics. Because this is readiness. And then when you come to the sound symbol association, I'll do that post this little patch that we have to finish with consolidation. So creating this wonder and curiosity of sounds, slowly introduce the last sound to the children and then try and see if they can pick up the middle sounds. Just do it while you narrate stories, while you actually connect with children on different bases. I think that's what works really well. And also what is very important is okay, so when we are building phonics, all this has to be done. Don't go to ab, curd, and just don't do that. That's not a nice way to do phonics with children, right? It's painful. It's painful for the children. It's painful for, everybody. I'm going to share. Let me see if I can just share screen with you. Give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay. Now today's poster is this one. I'm sure you can all see it. You know that this is how the poster looks, and I'm going to scroll it down. This is what we spoke about last time, when we met Neha, who's a speech and an audiologist, and she is a speech therapist, somebody who specializes. So she says that if these are the signs you see in children, please react. Because if you don't react, at the same time says that don't worry about it, don't panic, but do observe. I would, more than react, I would say do observe. So please take this down because it's a beautiful resource she's left for us. Last week we didn't put it up because we thought we'll put it up at the time for consolidation. So please use this. So in delay in talking, difficulty in recognizing and reproducing rhymes, difficulty in remembering information, right? Difficulty in following basic directions. You're going on telling the child and the child is not able to understand. Now, two ways. The one very interesting thing that she said was, sometimes it is delayed responses. But how do you know it's a delayed response if you don't know that this is the time and stage for that response? So understanding developmental milestones, Don't try and make a 3-year-old do what a 5-year-old is supposed to do. Because of this, lot of this home learning and online learning, this is one big advantage that the schools and teachers are helping the parents with, that they're helping you to identify what is correct for a particular age. Of course, it's individually dependent. Some of your children may be very bright, but on an average, the child will be a little more or a little less. But if a child is much lesser than the expected milestone, that's the time you need to start looking for some amount of professional guidance. Why professional guidance in phonics or in understanding or in listening or in speech? I'll just tell you this post reading this beautiful part from grades 1 to 3. Difficulty with sound symbol correspondences. Confusion that with letters that look alike. Confusion with letters that have similar sounds. Like a child would get confused with an H, an N, an M, an R, and because they look alike. Or they would be confused with the B, D, or the B, even in the vowels, the A, E, O, it's a lip movement. So also please be cautious about these things, that you have put it across in the correct way. If the child is confusing letters, use flashcards, continuously use flashcards, use finger tracing. So the sensory motor development will keep happening, and the child also is absorbing with the finger touch. It's a very important tool for the child to develop. And difficulty in remembering simple sight words. You've taught them the word again and again and again, but the child is still faltering. Problem in segmenting. Remember, I did the segmenting and that beautiful song that we just did. Difficulty in blending individual sounds. Reading and spelling errors that indicate difficulty. So they mix up the letters. I still do it. I still have an issue with my spelling. So I need to slow down. Then I look at the word. I keep thinking, oh, this is not sounding right. So give them a lot of flashcards. Your flashcards should have a minimum of 1.5 inch at 1.5 centimeters to 2 centimeters, in height, because that way the absorbing is much better at a younger stage. Please don't use cursive writing, use print writing, so that the children don't struggle anymore, right? So difficulty in remembering words of spelling of words over a period of time. So I'm going to stop sharing this. And please download this. It's a beautifully done document for us, and it will tell us that these are things we have to look for. And 100% it will help us out. It will help us to understand that. When I saw the document the first day that she sent it, and today when our team designed it for us, I felt that this is something which I'm going to clip onto my chart also, so that my reference is ready. Please build. I also would like to say at this point of time, when we are consolidating and keeping everything together, we have a list of resources we've given as activity sheets, right? Please go to the webinars and get them down. They're there on different parts, and I perhaps will consolidate them and we put them up for you, because they're such lovely resources. Why should we not use them as our reference points, right? It not only becomes a reference point for you as teachers, but you can use it to guide the parents. So that's what consolidation is all about, not just doing webinars and then forgetting about them and saying, oh, a webinar done. No, it's about how we can apply it. Today, when I requested all the speakers, of course, I make my notes in detail when the speakers are speaking. But when I requested them, could you consolidate and send it back to us? It was so beautiful. Each one of them in about 10 lines, 12 lines, sat down, consolidated resources for me, and I could recollect everything. And I said, okay, so how will I do the syllables today? How will I do the rhyming thing? How am I going to get the flow of the program today? So with each thing, I relived those suggestions of our experts who came and joined us. So that's the reason why we keep consolidating after every few weeks. Like during the phonic time, I consolidated a little more than I do with the other concepts, because I think the need is tremendous, to kind of understand this and to do this in a particular way I think it's very, very important. Very quickly, last time when I spoke to all of you, there are a lot of activities that need to be done, which you need to be doing. But I'm going to explain three simple concepts to you. So now just 5-6 minutes of just technically understanding the whole concept based. So start with phonological awareness. That's the foundation. So what is phonological awareness? It is the ability to understand and manipulate the sounds of the spoken language. It involves the development of a range of skills over a period of time, right? So parents and caregivers who introduce phonological awareness during the reading, singing, play activities, simple interaction, you can do it in such a interesting and beautiful way. So phonological awareness comes first. Then comes phonemic awareness. Phonological awareness is a generic, like I will explain to you. The first, let me get this, then I will explain each step how it goes. Phonemic awareness is the ability to understand individual sounds in spoken words. Okay? So phonological was manipulating the sounds, the broader sounds in the spoken words. This one is about flowing from one end of to the other of the words. That is the phonemic awareness. And then comes the phonics, where it is sound, symbol association, blending, and segmenting. In my understanding, this much if we do with phonics for children, we are sorted. Understanding that there's a difference, like I'll give you a simple example. When you say phonological awareness, there is a clock and I can hear the sound. The word clock rhymes with lock. The word clock starts with th and ends with th. Generic. Phonemic awareness. Let's listen to the individual sounds in the word clock. So I moved from a generic to specific movement phonemes in a word. Okay. Now phonics. See the written word and pronounce each word. So then you give them the symbol, either tell them to arrange it or tell them the sound, and then so now another way to do it. So k, l, o, k. Now blend it for me and say clock. When I say clock, you can k, l, o, k. Segment it for me and now build it with flashcards and now handwrite it. If this process is done with the children, it's very clear. One is the broader awareness, one is the awareness of every sound, every phoneme in the word, and then there is an association with the sound and the symbols. Blending, segmenting, orally, and then writing it, and then reading, of course, is a part. When you write it, you will read it, right? So these are little parts of how you do it. Then reading words, scanning them from left to right, reading sentences from up to down. That becomes the next step. How fast can I look at a word and visualize how it's broken up, how it can be blended and read. So for the reading, you blend. For the writing, for the dictation, you segment. So that every individual sound comes there. So these are the basic skills that are so important for a good, strong phonic program, right? And another thing that I would definitely, kind of spend a minute talking to all of you about is that how we just undermine the readiness. So we need to get the readiness in place. There are certain readiness activities, processes. You have beautiful programs, and so many times I see the easy part being just skipped. But that's not the easy part. That is the foundation of what is going to be difficult. So don't jump those steps. Even when I watch, different phonic programs and even what Square Panda has, initially it just seems so simple. But that is what is going to give the strength to the child to explore the more difficult, concrete to abstract. So please follow these little things. Understand that there are differences. That in phonics is not just everything is phonics. No, it's got very specific parts to it. And first step is to become aware of all those parts. Why should we be doing phonological awareness? How is that going to help you to do the phonemic awareness? And how are the phonological and phonemic awareness going to make a good reader and a child who can understand and absorb phonics better? So I know that it is just the beginning, lots more to do, and I'm sure we keep meeting. We are going to keep exploring different aspects of different kinds of learning. So thank you all. I hope I was able to convey. Most important is, once I understand that this is how it works, it's easier for me to make it simple for you, right? So clap your syllables, ask your riddles, sing your rhymes, say your stories, grow the skills, grow the vocabulary, auditory discrimination, auditory memory, visual discrimination, odd one out, same things, matching things together. Do you remember this? A lot of sketching, lot of drawing, manipulating with flashcards, and then your child goes into becoming being ready for phonics and reading. So thank you so very much, and we'll see you next week. And bye bye.
Square Panda.